Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin ashrafil mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. So tonight we are finally starting the serious part of our lesson so far. Yeah, all our practice sessions and revision sessions and introductory sections all come to this actually, Tarkib and Irab. Yes, because our intention is to understand the Quran and the Arabic that is used in the Quran and how it's formed. Yeah, so we went through like 15 odd sessions or more. Yes, just to study how the Arabic language forms sentences. Yeah, so now we're going to go into something called Tarkib and Irab, meaning we are not going to compose a sentence. Yes, we haven't come to that stage yet. All we want to do is, and the lovely thing about the Quran is it's already written. All we need to do is just understand what's going on, and so that we can understand what is being said. Yes, so this is where Tarkib and Irab comes into play. So what is the word Tarkib actually, and what is the word Irab? And what's the difference between these two? Okay, so this is something that we should understand before we proceed. Now, the word Tarkib, Raqaba, yes, comes from family 2, Raqaba, Yurakibu, Tarkiban, yes, and basically means to put things together. Yeah, put things together. And why we use it is because we want to see how words are combined to form phrases or sentences. Yes, so this is Tarkib. So this is like an overview of things. And then we have I'rāb. Yeah, I'rāb, family 4, Aqraba yuqribu Iʿrāban. Yes, so in this case, we want to understand each word and what it does in that sentence. Yes, first, how they come together. Secondly, how each word contributes to that sentence. Yeah, so this is where we look at the endings. When we say I'rāb, we're looking at the endings. Yeah, basically. So here, I'm just recapping what this table is saying. Tarkib is about structure, the architecture of a sentence, and I'rāb is about the function, the grammatical role of each word in that sentence. Yeah, so Tarkib, I'rāb. I think we're clear there, inshallah. I will go over it again, yes, because this concept is quite important to really grasp and understand, because this is the basis of how you're going to understand the language of the Quran. Yeah. Now, why do we have Tarkib? Yeah, Tarkib is not something that is in the Arabic culture. Yeah, not in the Arabic culture, in their language. The word Tarkib is not used as how we use it here. Yeah, it literally means, Ustad said, by putting two things together. Yeah, 1 plus 1 is 2, and the study of how things come together in a sentence. We said that in the previous slide. Yeah, and why do we do this? Is because we want to translate. So when I say this, how to translate, then you know that Tarkib is of course something for the non-Arab, because the Arabs won't need Tarkib. Yeah, they will know what is going on in the sentence. They go on to Irab because then they go to the finer meanings of the sentence. Yeah, so that's the detail. This is the overview. So why do we have the Tarkib? We recap again what I've just said. Yeah, basically to analyze. Like for example, if you have this sentence, yeah, Hazal darsa al-Arabi sahlun. Yeah, so here you recognize one of those words where we have ya at the end, yeah, ba and a kasrah before it. So Hazal das and al-Arabi, what do you think it forms in this sentence? Sister Shiraz, what do you think this is? What is this? Is this a jumla ismiya or jumla fi'liya? Question. Sister Shiraz, are you there?
Yes, sister. I'm sorry. I was searching for the mic in the Ji.
Subhanallah. Yes, the mic is always a problem.
Haza Ad-darasul Arabiyu. So this will be the badal for haza. Ad-darasul Arabi, Mawsuf Sifa.
Yes. This is Mawsuf and Sifa. Yes.
Ji.
And
And
Haza
this
does.
will be Ismul Ishara and Musharun Alay. This will be a fragment.
Yes, this will be a fragment. But this
Fragment.
whole thing, what is this?
Is Mubtada.
Yes.
Mubtada.
And this is your
Ji. Sahlun
Habar.
is Khabar.
Yes.
Ji.
So here's your Mubtada and this is your Habar. So as you can see, Tarkib just breaks down the sentence in this way. Mubtada, Habar.
Ji.
It doesn't go into, oh, this is Ismu Ishara, this is Musharu Alay, this is your badal of that, It doesn't do, and this is Mawsuf inside. That one is not part of Tarkib. Yeah, it's just that's the detail of the bits and pieces that you find. Okay? So this is something you would say, sorry, that's the wrong spelling. And here is the Ismu Ishara, Musharun Ilayh. This is something that you can do to understand, but you don't go into the details as, we will see in the next slide. Yeah, we won't go into the further details, which we will explain shortly. So here, Mubtada, Haba, the main parts, and then all the phrases that you know, and any other detail that you want to add will come below. Yeah, but what you need to look at is actually this one, because this is the one that helps you translate. Then you would translate it as, this Arabic class is easy. Yeah, so this Arabic class is easy. So why? This Arabic class is the Mubtada because it comes before is, and Sahlun comes after is. Yeah, we learned that Mubtada is Habar. So is Tarkib necessary all the time? Do we have to do this? Not all the time. Yeah, when it's a simple sentence like these, for example, Haza rajulun. Haza rajulun, Sister Mamina, how would I translate this?
This is a man.
This is a man, right? And then we see something like this. This is a boy. Yes. And then this one.
This is a girl.
This is a girl. So the sentence structure is quite simple. This is. Mubtada haba. Mubtada haba. Yeah. No musharun ilay or ismu ishara in this case. Yes. This is a straightforward Mubtada haba. But what about in this case? I have 3 sentences here. Haza rajulun salihun. Yes. Hazar rajulu salihun. And hazar rajulu salih. Sister Qaratul Ain, could you explain the difference between these 3? Sister Qaratul Ain, are you there?
Yes. Okay, inshallah. You want me to say the difference between that?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Hada rajulun, this is a righteous man.
Yes.
That's the first one. Yeah. And the second one is, this man is righteous.
Okay. And
is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And the last one is, this righteous man.
Yeah, this righteous man. So you see what's happening here? In this case, we have to do Tarkib for a while because we are trying to differentiate with something that looks similar but isn't. Yeah, the beauty of the Arabic language. So Haza rajulun salihun. This too is Mawsuf and Sifa. Yeah, Salih is an attribute of Rajul, the man. But Haza here is your Mubtada. So this is a righteous man. Yeah, so this is Mubtada and this is your Habar. Yeah, Mubtada, Habar. In this case, we are looking at Ismum Ishara and Musharun Ilayh. In which case, the Rajul is the Badal for Haza. It's the same thing. Hazar Rajulu. Yeah, meaning this man. And this is now your Mubtada. And now this is your Habar. So this man is righteous. In this case, however, you see that Ar-Rajulu As-Salihu is actually the Badal for Haza. And there's only a Mubtada here. Yeah, this righteous man. Yeah, so I think most of you follow this. Sister Momina, any problems here?
No. No.
No, good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So, how to do Tarkib? Well, you normally do it in what I showed you just now, like it's a chart or a graphic form, yeah? So you have your word here, Allahu Ahad, for example, yeah? And this would be your mubtada, and this would be your khabar, yeah? And we normally, because it's graphic, right, you want to color code it. It's easy to understand when it's color coded. Not nice to buy like red, blue, red pen, you know, the one that comes in one pen, and then start writing accordingly, yeah. But as you go more, your experience grows and grows, yes, you won't be, you don't need to, you just automatically break it down, yeah. Your eyes can automatically, and your brain can automatically break it down, inshallah. So first you write the sentence in black. So this is the sentence, Allahu Ahad. Then you label the main parts at the top. My sentence is very simple. There's no bits and pieces underneath. No maususifa, no idafa, yeah, no jawma bajrur. So we don't have the second part, yeah, label phrases and addition for below. This is what we would do. And we would arrange it in a very systematic way, layer by layer. We don't add the main in the phrase in the main, you know, we don't do that. We say, okay, this is the main components, these are our phrases, and maybe this is some other additional bits that we want to put in, yeah. So the idea here is so that we get a nice overall view, so we can translate mubtada habah or jumlah ismiyah fi'il fa'il, yeah, who did the action, what was the action, what's the action done to, you know, things like that. So this is what Tarkib does. But Irab, on the other hand, we go into the actual word. Yeah. So what I'rāb means, the linguistic meaning, is to explain oneself, to make something clear and plain. Yeah? There are people, there are mufassirin that says when we say the Quran is Arabiya, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's an Arabic Quran. But some say it actually means clear Quran. Yeah, so that is some school of thought on that. Why? Because of this. Because the root letters mean this. Yeah, to explain, to make something clear and plain. But you know, Allahu Alam, He knows better, and after all languages come from Him. So how we understand it and our knowledge of understanding it also comes from Him. Yeah, so inshallah. Daraba Aisha Fatima. Now, when you don't have harakat, for a sentence like this, what are the various translations can we have for this sentence? Sister Shiraz, can you tell me what are the options that we have if we don't have the markings?
So one will be Daraba, like Aisha can beat Fatima. Else it can be Fatima beating Aisha.
Yes.
But I'm confused because this has to be feminine, sister. Darabat.
Yeah, it should be Darabat. Yes, you're right.
Darabat?
Yeah, it should be Darabat, Aishatun or Aishatan, depending.
Aisha to Fatimata.
Yes. So yes, this is something that we will learn later on. I was trying to find something that was masculine that could do this. So I'm gonna put it as feminine, but you're right, that should be a Darabat. Yeah, but we want to keep I want to get the fi'il at this point in time. Maybe I'll find a better solution to this. Okay. Maybe I can use
Zaidun or Zaidun Khalidan,
or even Hashim, right? So yeah, I can put Khalid or Zaidan, and then who hits who will depend on the endings. Yeah, but the thing is, once it is why I chose the Tamabuta endings was because whenever we have something that is mansub, that is not with Tamabuta, you will have to add alif, and it's obvious that is mansub, you know, so obvious that is maf'ul. So the best, I guess, would have been Darabat. Yeah, Darabat, and then this can be Aishatun Fatimatan, or it can be Aishatan Fatimatun. Yeah, so obviously without Irab, it's not clear who's doing it, yeah, we need to do Irab. So by placing the relevant harakat or huruf at the end of the word, not just harakat, you know that there are endings, the una and ina endings that we learned, the atin and the atun, yes, all of this is also part of I'rab, yeah, how the word ends, yeah, how the word ends. Now, why do we need to do I'rab? Of course, because we want to know the function. Yeah, not so much the translation or the meaning, yeah, but we need to know what is it doing in the sentence before we can know the meaning. Yeah? Right. So there are three elements that when we say we do I'rab of a word, what is it that we mean? Yeah. When we look at the I'rab of a word, what is it that we're looking at? The first thing is, of course, the grammatical function. That's the main component, the overview that Tarkib also gives us. Khabar, mubtada, yeah, what other things that we can have? Maf'ul, yeah, that's another thing. And then we have things like isim kana, khabar kana, yeah, these are all the big ones, the main ones, yeah. Once we know the grammatical function, then actually we know this because of the state, yeah, means whether it's marfu, mansub, majru or majzoom. And how do we know its state? Because of the sign, how that state is expressed, yeah, whether it's with kasra, with fatha, with dhamma, with sukun. These are the things that we look up. I think all of you are very familiar with that. So how do you do I'rab as opposed to the graphical form of Tarkib, yeah, or the blocks in your head? You actually have to write sentences. Yeah, you actually have to write description, full description. So in that description, you need to answer this question. What is its grammatical function? Mubtada. Okay. What is its state? Marfu. Yeah. How is that state expressed? Dhamma. Yeah. So these are the things that we need to answer when we do I'rab. Okay. We would write it, of course. We won't draw it. It's not really feasible to draw it. So we would write it. Now this is something we need to note. I think we know that we cannot have Allah is mubtada. Yes, we cannot say something like that. It's disrespectful because we are looking actually at the word Allah. Yeah, so that's why we have lafzul jalallah. So whenever we come across the word Allah, we will say so. It's the word that is mubtada. Yes, Allah is no way is mubtada. Okay, so the word Allah is mubtada, and what is its state? It's marfu', and the alamat or how it's expressed is because there is a dhamma at the end. Same thing with your khabar. It is marfu', and the sign of its rafa'ness is the dhamma. Okay, so here's your grammatical function. This is the state, and this is how you express that state. Okay, all right. Now, this thing, this how do you say? Sometimes, like a simple sentence like this is so easy, right? It's so easy to understand this. But as it gets more and more complex, that's where the tarkib comes in. Yeah, because sometimes you have to do the tarkib not only just for words. It might be a phrase, because you know we've learned that a phrase can represent an isim or one word, or a sentence can also be in the slot of an isim, one word. Yeah, so that's where tarkib is useful. Then only we go down to the I'rab. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like a, it's like a circle, really. It reciprocates each other. Yeah, in order to do the tarkib, you need to look at the I'rab as well. Yeah, so we do a bit of both. We do this first, and then we do that first. Yeah, so we see what comes naturally. Now, before we go on, there is something that sometimes we do not cover when we do I'rab or tarkib. What we call word analysis. So when we look at a word in a sentence, there are three ways or three things that you need to look at. Yeah? Look at the word and you ask yourself, is it an amil or is it not an amil? So what do we mean by amil? That means that word is affecting another word, or whatever that word is. Remember, we have three types of words. Yeah, we have the isim, fi'il, and harf. So is it an amil or not? First question. Okay, so if it's not an amil, is it a ma'mul? What is ma'mul? The word that is being affected by the amil. We've learned this, right? We've learned that we have the fi'il, then we have the maf'ul, and we have the fa'il. So maf'ul here is the thing that the action is being done to. Yes, so isim ma'mul is isim maf'ul for the verb amil. Does it have an i'rāb or does it not have an i'rāb? That's the other thing. Is it changing? Can we see the changes? Yeah, so these are the three things that we look at whenever we look at a word, because this will help us determine what its function is. Okay, so here again, these are the definitions. The word that causes another to be in a particular state, yes. The ma'mul, the word which has been caused to be in a particular state because of the amil. And when this exists, then we look at the i'rāb of that word. Yeah, we look at the i'rāb of that word. Then after that, we need this i'rāb is what we call the expression of that state that the amil has imposed on the ma'mul. Okay, this is a very simple exercise. Yeah, it's a very simple way of explaining it. So let's say we have fil masjidi. Yeah, fil masjidi, you know fi is harful jar. Of course it's the amil. Why? Because it's caused the isim to become majroor. Yeah, because it's an amil. And this is of course your ma'mul. What has changed because of the amil. Yeah, so that relationship is very clear cut. Amil, ma'mul. Now once it's the amil, it's obvious that it cannot be a ma'mul. Well, not in this one case, yeah, not in this one case, but sometimes it can be, yeah, because it depends on what's before it. In this case, it's a half, so a half usually nothing acts on it, yeah, so we are quite safe here that it's like a ma'mul. It won't be a ma'mul, yeah, because halves, normally things don't act on halves. غير amil, yeah, once it's ma'mul, then of course it's غير amil. It can't be an amil, not in this chart anyway, but yes, it can be an amil to something that follows it. But this is al-masjidi, so highly unlikely. Okay, highly unlikely. So in this case, once it is a ma'mul, it must have an i'rāb. Because how do we know that this has acted upon this? Because something has changed. And when something has changed, it's usually the ending. The rest of the word won't change, yeah, because it's the same type of word. If it's a maf'ul, it's a maf'ul. It's a fa'il, it's a fa'il. If it's a masdar, it's a masdar, yeah. So that's not going to change. It's only the ending that will change, and this is why we say the ma'mul always has an i'rāb. Yeah, if a word is not a ma'mul, it won't have an i'rāb. Yeah, and when we say it won't have an i'rāb, you know this expression. La mahala laha min al-i'rāb. Yeah, so it won't have an i'rāb. So this is a very important phrase. If a word is not ma'mul, it will have no i'rāb. Okay, if it is a ma'mul, then it will have an i'rāb. So let's see another example where we said, remember, I said there are cases where the amil is also ma'mul. So we have here a sentence. Lam yaftah. Oh, now how do we say this? Lam yaftahil muslimunal babina. The sentence is a strange sentence in the sense that it says the Muslims did not open the two doors. Okay, so we have two doors somewhere and a group of Muslims who did not open the door. Yeah, so lam yaftahil muslimunal babina. Okay, so here lam is your amil. That's the ma'mul. Yes, it has made this verb yaftah majzoom. Yeah, so that's one. But and we said that here, right? It's an amil. It's usually ghayr ma'mul. Yeah, half. You don't really how do you say? There's nothing in before the lam that can make the lam something else. Yeah, so it's ghayr ma'mul. It won't change. But here, a verb, however, a verb does things. Yeah, a verb does things. So in this case, this verb has done two things. Yeah, affected two words, al-muslimuna and al-babini. Yeah, this is correct. Al-babina, right? Should be two doors. Yeah, so here we go. Yeah, that should be a fatah there. So here, these are ma'muls. Yeah, but here we are indicating that a ma'mul can also be amil. Yeah, it can also be amil. Okay, so again, this one won't have an i'rab. All that has changed will have an i'rab. Yeah, so we need to remember this again. If a word is not ma'mul, it will have no i'rab. Any questions so far? Alhamdulillah. Okay, I'm just going to repeat this again because it's something worth repeating. The amil, the one that causes the change, the ma'mul, the one that has changed, and the i'rab, the change. Okay, so this is what we need to remember. Now let's look at the first type of sentence and how we would normally do the Irab and Tarkib. The sentences that I'm going to go through with you are very simple sentences because it's the intention here is so that we are very clear what is it that is when we do Tarkib, what is it that we do when we do Irab. Yeah, as we go on and we actually do our respective surahs that we're going to do, it's going to get more and more complex, but you need to have this frame of work in your head so that you can see how it looks on top before you go down to the detail. But like I said, sometimes you have to look at the details to see the overhead. Yeah, so sometimes you'll have to look at the trees, sometimes you'll have to look at the forest. But we will play by surah ayah verse by verse as we do the Irab and Tarkib. So for Jumla Ismiyah, as you can see, the Tarkib is simple in this case, Mubtada, Habar. Yeah, no mystery about it, nothing complicated. There's no haza something here or that as Mubtada. Yeah, so we have your musharun ilay and isim isharah. No, we don't have that. It's just a single word. And here again, we saw this before. Similar to this, we had Allahu Rabbun in the other slide. This is Ahadun. Yeah, so it's still lafzu jalallah mubtada marfu, the alamat, and here. Now, Sister Momina, I purposely did not add any harakah. Okay. Can you read this with the endings?
Lafzul jalalati.
Yes, lafzul jalalati.
Jalalati mubtada'un marfu'un alamatu raf'ihi.
Yes.
Ad-dhammatu.
Good, excellent, alhamdulillah. Yes, so we know that this would be basically a sentence that is the word Allah is mubtada, it's marfu'un, and its sign of rafa is dhamma. Yeah, so this is also mubtada habar. Okay, and this would then be khabarun marfu'un alamatu rafi'i. This one is too light, of course, because it is mudaf ilay. Yeah, and ad-dhammatu. Yes, so this is your mubtada and this is your habar. Alhamdulillah, good. Now, when we go to Jumla Fi'liya, things get a little bit more, busy. because in a jumla fi'liya there's many things that can go in. Most of your mansubats are in fi'il, yes? Yeah. So here we see we have the fi'il, we have the fa'il, we have the maf'ul bihi, the maf'ul fihi, maf'ul lahu, maf'ul ma'ah, maf'ul mutlaq, all of which we have studied or revised during the earlier sessions. Yeah, fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul bihi, fihi, lahu, ma'ah, and mutlaq. Okay, so the tarkib for fi'il fa'il, very simple. Here we go. Fi'il fa'il ja'a Muhammadun. So tarkib, straightforward, no mystery. When it get to the Irab, we are just going to do one type of jumla fi'iliyah at this point in time. Yeah, this is the madin. There's a reason why. Yeah, because the Irab for a madin is the simplest. Yeah, when you go to the mudari, when you go to the amr, it gets more complex. But for this case, we would just say this is fi'lun madin mabniyun alal fathi. Okay, and here fa'ilun marfu'un alamatu raf'i dhammatu. Yeah, so in this case, the first thing that you notice is, what is it that you notice? What do you notice here? Sister Qaratul Ain, what's the difference in the signs? In the way you write the signs, that's the question. Sister Qaratul Ain, inshallah. We're having problems with the mic today.
No, she's
No,
here.
I just sent the message.
Oh,
like
she did.
her hubby has come.
Oh, I see. Alhamdulillah. I didn't
Ji,
see the
ji.
message. Okay.
Ji, ji, ji.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, Sister Shiraz, what's the difference between these two?
With the fatha and the dhamma.
What's it?
Ji.
Yeah. It's not that this is fatha and this is dhamma, but how you write it. That's what I'm trying to point out here. What's the difference between mabni and marfu?
Mabni is, it remains the same all the time without any changes.
Okay, but this one, this word, what is it different? How is it different from here?
Acha, okay, this is kasra alal fathi. So this is jar majrur, and whereas here, is it in that way you're asking, sister?
What I'm trying to say is, this one has tamabuta and this one doesn't have.
Acha, okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
this one, because there is a difference between the scholars of Kufa and the scholars of Basra. Yeah. Sorry. What I meant is, I'm talking about something else now. Al-Fathi ad-Dhammatu. Yeah, of course, you're right. This is half of jar and this is majrur. And this one is actually a khabar.
It is marfu.
Khabar, yeah. So that's why it's al-Dhammatu. But what I'm trying to emphasize here is, yes, it's the meaning of both words are the same, but they're used differently. Yeah, al-fat and ad-dhamma has the same meaning in a sense, meaning this is for fatha, the sign of this one, yeah, and dhamma is the sign here, yeah, but you drop the tamabuta when it is mabni. Yeah, the meaning is the same, but when it is mabni, you drop the tamabuta. When it is mu'rab, marfu' mansub, yeah, majrur, then you will put the tamabuta. This is how they differentiate between the two. Yeah, so for mabni, you don't have the tamabuta. For mu'rab, you have the tamabuta. You're right, mabni, you don't see the changes. Yeah, only the mu'rab ones you see the changes at the end. Okay, so this is something we need to remember. Now let's go to the first type of detail, the maf'ul bihi. The maf'ul bihi. Here, the tarkib is simple. Fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul bihi. As you know, the maf'ul bihi will be mansub. Arsala, same thing, because we're sticking to our fi'lun madin, and it's always mabni. But the only difference is sometimes the endings change. It's mabni ala fat or mabni something else. Yes. But depending on how it is the doer itself. Yeah, the doer itself. Okay, here we have Allahu, which is lafzu jalallah, the fa'il, and it is marfu. Yeah, one of the isims that are marfu is fa'il. The others, you know, mubtada, habar, you know, and isim kana, these are all marfu. And here again, because it is marfu, mu'rab, we have the dhamma. We have the tamabuta for the dhamma. Yeah. And here is mansubun, alamatun nasbi, al-fathatu. Yeah. So this is mubtada. As this is mubtada as in idafa and the habar. Okay. Now maf'ul fihi, this is where I wanted to say, it's sometimes called zarf. Yes, because like I said, depends on whether you come from Kufa or Basra. Yeah, this is what I wanted to highlight. So samal waladu yawman. Yeah, sama is the boy fasted today. Yeah, so this is how it goes. But it's quite standard because all maf'uls are mansub. So it doesn't matter whether it's fihi, whether it's bihi or lahu, you know, it'll always be mansub because this is how we know it is a maf'ul. Yeah. So in terms of tarkib, we can or not, no, we can just put it as maf'ul if we wanted to. Yeah, because we know it's going to be mansub. And when we say it, it's going to be mansub, and it's just a detail. Yeah. So we can say fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul, and that maf'ul can cover everything. No worries. Yeah. So if you're not sure, you know it's mansub, it must be maf'ul. And then later on we'll figure out which type of maf'ul, yeah, inshallah. Depending on the question it asks. Yeah, always look at the question that it asks. Because when it answers the question when or where, it is not maf'ul bihi. There are times when it is maf'ul bihi. Might be yawman, but yawman is maf'ul bihi because it answers the question what. Yeah? So this is how you differentiate when things like zarfs, when it is maf'ul bihi and when it is a zarf. Yeah, you have to ask yourself, what is the question that you ask when you answer it? Okay, then you will be able to tell. Now, ajlihi, of course, the one that answers the question. Yeah, so maf'ul lahu is the reason why the action took place. Yeah, so I have here now which is the parent and which is the child. The word. Which one is the parent and which one is the child? Anyone?
Yeah, Walid is the parent, Walad is the child.
Yes. Okay, alhamdulillah. So when we translate this, of course, it's the father who hit the son, yeah, who hit the child. And why did he do that? Ta'diban. Ta'diban means he wanted to teach him to show respect. Yeah, well, I wouldn't do that though. But yeah, but this is how some parents do it. Yeah, palm. Okay, don't talk to me back. This is how they will do it, inshallah. So here, daraba, still fi'il madin because we have not moved. We'll only do mudari during the next session. Yeah, inshallah. And here is our fa'il. I did not put the dhamma there, but we know that from here, this is fatha, so this is obviously the fa'il. And we know it's marfu'. Then this would be your maf'ul bihi. And why? This is ta'diban, yeah, ta'diban, for discipline, or how we want to translate this word, yeah. Then maf'ul ma'ah. Maf'ul ma'ah. Now, what is maf'ul ma'ah? Yeah, maf'ul ma'ah is the person or thing with which you do the action. Yeah, maf'ul ma'ah, the person or thing with which you do the action. Okay, so you're doing something and there's another person, and that person or thing or another thing, yeah, when I say thing, it could be something inanimate, you know, like a river flowing or something, or the sea coming in and out. Yeah, so maf'ul ma'ah is something that is present when that action occurs. Okay, so it could be a person, it could be something. So how do we know it is maf'ul ma'ah? when it is nasab, and it's usually accompanied by a waw. So this waw is waw ma'iyah, and it is not ataf because this is not, in this case, rafa. It is mansub. Yeah, so we know that this is my ma'a. Yeah, so Amran was there. He came with Zaidun. Yeah, this is the difference between the ataf and the ma'a. Yeah, because he must have come together with Zaid. Whereas when you say Ja'a Zaidun wa Amrun, for example, yeah, then what it means is Zaid could have come and Amran could have come. Yeah, but not necessarily together. Not necessarily not necessarily that Amran came after Zaid or Zaid came after Amran. The sentence doesn't give that detail. Yeah, it just says that Zaid came and Amran came, and that's why we say Ja'a Zaidun wa Amrun, for example. But in this case, it's mansub. So without any doubt, he came together with Zaid. Yeah, he came together with Zaid. Now, when you do the i'rab for waw, a single letter half, yeah, a single letter half, you don't write, or like in this case, we know this one all, we already know this one well. We don't put waw in the brackets, we put al-waw. Yeah, the waw, this waw. We're talking about this waw. Yeah, we don't just put wa. We don't put waw with a fatha. We put al-waw. Yeah, so we see this in the book of Irab. This is the correct way of dressing a single letter half. Yeah. Then we have amran. Amran. Maf'ul ma'ah mansub wa alamatun nasbi al-fatah. Okay. A word about the name Amran and the name Omar. Okay, in this case, it's clear, you see it's Amran. Okay, so if let's say you don't have harakat, yeah, most Arabic books do not have harakat. Yeah, it's only for us, the non-Arabs, that we have the benefit of harakats. Okay, so if let's say in the Rafa case, yeah, if I were to write Omar, Ain Mim Ra, and Amran, Ain Mim Ra, right? Can you tell the difference? You can't. So what do we do? What do we do to differentiate Omar from Amran? Have you seen this done? I think you've seen it done before, yeah?
I think you put a wow there for Umar, right?
Yes, that's right. We put a wow there actually from Amran. Yeah? Yeah. So that's how it is. Alhamdulillah, that's correct. Absolutely correct. Okay, now the last...
Wow, before? Where will that wow be, sister?
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Before the alif. If it is marfu. Yeah, if it is marfu. So, amru. Yeah, amru. There will be a wow there.
Amru. Okay. Ji.
Where was I? Sorry. Yep. Yeah. Maf'ul mutlaq. We have fi'il, fa'il, maf'ul bihi, amran, usually complete sentence, and then we have the maf'ul mutlaq. When you drop the maf'ul mutlaq, the meaning of the sentence does not change. Yeah, so that's how you know it's maf'ul mutlaq, apart from the fact that normally its root letters are the same as the fi'il. If the root letters are not the same as the fi'il, it would have the same meaning as the fi'il. No, like you have two ways of saying sitting down, right? He sat down. Yeah, it can be jalasa, or it can be, what's the other word for sitting down? I forget. There's another one. But anyway,
Father Yaqudu?
that one is to take, right? So no. I'll think I will put it in the group, inshallah. Yes, so daraba, darban. We don't translate it as Zaidun hit Omar with a hitting, although that's the normal thing. The literal translation is Zaidun hit Amran with a hitting. what we would translate it is that Zaid hit Amran really hard. Yeah, that's how we should, because maf'ul mutlaq in this case is for emphasis. Yeah, so here we go. Fa'il maf'ul alamatu raf'i, this one will be light because this is idafa, and at-tamatu is also light because it's the alif lam. Yeah, so here Amran is your maf'ul bihi mansub, darban is your maf'ul mutlaq mansub. Yeah, same sign. Okay, before we go, I need to finish this one, and then next session we will go into pronouns in the fi'ils. Yeah, and that's where we see how it is conjugated for the madin, and we'll see how it's conjugated for the mudari, and then how we treat the i'rab for each of these pronouns. Now, in a jumla fi'iliyah, the fa'il can come in two forms. It can be zahir, meaning it's a name. Zahir is a name, yeah, or it can be a domir. Yeah, when it is a domir, there is two ways it can appear. Either it is baris, meaning that you can see it, or it is, what's the other one? We always say this in our i'rab, when you cannot see it.
Mustatir.
Yes, mustatir. Yeah, so these are the two types of domir. So here we look at hal, tamyiz, and mustasna. Yeah, hal, tamyiz, and mustasna. Now, ja'al waladu rakiban. So how did the child come? He came riding. So yeah, so what does hal do? It shows the state of the fa'il or the maf'ul. Yeah, it shows the state of either the fa'il or the maf'ul. In this sentence, it's fa'il. Yeah, in this sentence, it's fa'il. So this is what we call the zul hal, or the one that's possessing that condition, or sahibul hal. Yeah, that's another way of looking at it. But this is nice because it shows you that this hal or condition belongs to this fa'il. Yeah, so this is al-waladu, the child. Now it's always mansub, and it's usually a mushtaqat. A mushtaqat meaning, remember we learn in sarf, it's either isim fa'il or isim maf'ul. In this case, it's isim fa'il. Yeah, rakiban. Okay. Okay, this is madin. Al-waladu, the fa'il, is marfu', and hal of the fa'il is mansub, and its sign is nas. This one, hal al-fa'il, meaning it's the zul hal. Yes, rakiban. This hal comes from the fa'il, the state of the fa'il, and it is mansubun. Alhamdulillah. Then we have tamyiz. Now, what's tamyiz? Tamyiz in numbers, you know, because it explains what that number is. You know, I bought 5. Yeah, you bought 5 what? You know, so 5 eggs or 5 shirts. Yeah, that's why we call it tamyiz, because it clarifies the number. How many of what did you buy? Yeah, so tamyiz is also used to clarify other things. For example, here we said, Zada Fir'aunu kufran. Yeah, so in what way did Fir'aun increase? What is it that he increased in? What is it that he increased in his kufr? Yeah, his disbelief. The more Musa alayhi salam tried to prove things to him, he just kept on denying it and doesn't care, because after all, he's God, right? That's what he declared. Yeah, so this is Zada Fir'aunu kufran. So this is tamyiz. It clarifies in what way Fir'aun increased. Yeah, so that's what. So then we have something like this. Zada, still fi'il madin. We have not changed the type of jumla fi'iliyah. It's still the past tense. Fir'aunu, because of the dhamma, is our fa'il, and tamyiz is mansub because of the fatha and because of how it functions in the sentence. It clarifies how Fir'aun increased. It is tamyiz. Yeah. So there are times there may be like an overlap between hal and tamyiz. Yeah, there might be some overlap in hal and tamyiz. So because remember, hal is how, is a condition of how. Tamyiz is more like what, in what way. Yeah, so sometimes it's not that clear cut. Yeah, so, and sometimes you can have two i'rabs. It can be tamyiz, it can be hal. But we can do a comparison of this, inshallah. There is some definite guidelines, where you can figure out whether it's a tamyiz or hal. Can you remind me maybe in the next session, please? Then I can list down some of the differences that the scholars say. Yeah. Okay. Then the final one, inshallah, for tonight is the mustasna. Yeah, mustasna. Remember this? This is the exemption, yeah, or exception. Okay. The thing that you remove or exempt from the general ruling of the previous sentence. So what's the general ruling of the previous sentence? Ma ra'a. Zaid did not see. Yeah, did not see anyone in this case except Amran. Yeah. So illa is what we call the adatu hasr. This one, adat, it means both isim and harfs. Yeah, it can include both isim and harfs, because these sort of awamil, it covers both awamil types, yeah, whether it is a harf or an isim, because even isim can affect another isim, and of course harfs can affect both isims and fi'ils. Yeah. So here the mustasna, what it excludes it from is actually this action of seeing. Yeah, not necessarily group of people, yeah, but also a particular action. So here again we see fi'il and fa'il, and then we will say that this is your adatu hasr, and here's Amran, which is your maf'ul bihi. Okay, so this is, some call it adatu istisna'in, yeah, but I prefer this one, hasr. Okay, here how would you translate this sentence before we move on? Sister Momina, how would you translate this?
The sentence, Zaid did not see except Amran.
Amran, yeah, except Amran, yeah, he only saw Amran. Okay, yeah. Good. And here, alright, Sister Shiraz, I'm not going to list down the Irab of this one. Can you read to me one by one what the Irab is? How would you say it?
Ma ja'a illa Zaidun. So except illa Zaidun. So it means only Zaid came.
Yes, only Zaid came.
So
that's
Zaid
true.
Came. So ma is ma nafi, and ja'a is fi'l madi, illa is adwatul hasr, and Zaidun is the fa'il.
Okay, ja'a, how would you say the full Irab for ja'a?
Ja'a is fi'l madi mabni alal fath.
Yes, good.
Ji.
And
then
the fa'il?
Fa'il is Zaidun. Zaidun, it is marfu bid-dam.
Yes.
And what else to say? Zaidun, it is fa'il. It is marfu'un. And alamat علامة مرفوع علامة مرف
رفعه رفعه
अच्छा رفعه علامة رفعه is الضمة
and إلا
is أدوات الحصر حرف
حصر. Yes, alhamdulillah. Here we are, and this one here أداة حصر مبني على الفتح الفتح.
So even the harf will be the same like the file thing, sister? Like ala, fathi, ala thing. It's only for the
because it's mabni.
Nouns that we have to say alamatu, alamate, like the ta marbuta.
Yes, when it is mu'rab, we have to say this because there will be a sign. Yeah, there is an alamat. There are changes. This alamat is for the changes that you see. Yeah? Okay, alhamdulillah. Good, alhamdulillah. So, tomorrow, next week, try and remind me about Tamyiz and Hal before, maybe before the day of the class, so I can prepare, and then we will start off differentiating between baris and mustatir. Yeah, another term for this is mudma. Yeah, mudma, if I'm not mistaken, and that is also hidden. Yeah, that's where we get the word damir from anyway. Yeah, subhanallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairan kaseera, sister.
I hope it was a good
very
refresher.
Important topic. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
The basic of the thing.
Yeah.
Alaikum assalam.